Now on to our continuing investigation into the controversy surrounding one of the biggest election software providers, the Colorado voting systems company Dominion. They've now been raising a lot of eyebrows over the last week about giving an advantage to Biden in this election. And this time, proof shows they're associated with Nancy Pelosi and the Clintons. Dominion has rejected any bias, though, towards the 2020 election, but did make a donation to the Clinton Foundation back in 2014 during a Clinton Global Initiative. Also, they failed to inform that they hired a former staffer of Nancy Pelosi's as a lobbyist to represent Dominion. Connecting the dots? But Dominion's still claiming they have no ties to the Clintons and Pelosi. And they also claim no suspicious activity with their company. Now more is coming to light about Dominion and another company called Smartmatic. Attorney for the Trump legal teams have now claimed Dominion did indeed shift votes. And a former guest on our show and a contractor for Dominion, you remember this last week, Melissa Carone, stated in an affidavit she witnessed firsthand illegal activity at the TCF Center in Detroit during the ballot counting process. Connecting all the dots here with Dominion, folks? Now, spearheading our investigation into the allegations against Dominion is our Washington, D.C. reporter, Chanel Rion. She joins me now with more on what she has uncovered. So, Chanel, let's set this up for folks. Yesterday, you had a gentleman on our show named Joe Altman. He was a guy who tried to infiltrate Antifa, and during his undercover operation, figuring out more about Antifa, he learns about this guy who's the head of security for Dominion and how he's connected with Antifa, and pretty much says he's got an insurance plan to make sure Trump doesn't win. That was yesterday. What do you got for us today in your investigation?
Dan, today we asked the question of just how easy is it to delete, swap, copy and paste ballots at the machine level. So we found an individual. He's a large systems data analyst. His name is Ron Watkins. He has been poring over the user manuals for Dominion systems for the past week and a half. And he's an experienced white hat hacker. That is a good guy hacker. And he's been reading this manual with that mindset. His takeaway was stunning, Dan. You'll see all of this in our special coming up this weekend, but I want to show you just a little bit of what he shared with us right now. Take a listen to what Ron Watkins tells us about how easy it is to move votes around.
With the Dominion system, you need to be most concerned about activist IT people. The operators of the Dominion system, in my opinion, have way too much power to control the internal features and settings of the system. So, for example, an administrative user would have the ability to delete ballots, reset counts, delete entire batches, etc. There are many ways that this can be abused. Dominion will train between 2 to 6 workers per county who are appointed by the county to undergo election systems training. And these 2 to 6 workers are trusted to not tamper with the final tabulation and counts while transferring data between the ICC, which is the ImageCast central tabulation software, and the county. So this transfer process is literally just dragging some folders on a Windows computer onto a flash drive, then physically handing the flash drive to the county. What I want to know is, during this handoff, are these people being watched by auditors, or to make sure this flash drive isn't switched out for something else? Are these folders being dragged correctly onto the flash drive? Has the data been altered before or after it's been handed off? We can't know.
Okay, so Chanel.
So the bottom line.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say the bottom line, having spoken to this individual for a long time, bottom line is the handling of thousands of votes at a time were entrusted in 2 to 6 county workers, and it was all controlled by one digital key. If you alter or compromise one of those digital keys, it affects the entire system.
Wow. And we know from your great investigating yesterday that this gentleman, Joe Altman, had heard about this Dr. Eric Coomer, who you're going to have a lot about on your special, as you said, this Saturday here on One America News. Eric Coomer is like the director of security or something for Dominion Software. And now when you Google and look him up, a bunch of his stuff from social media, poof, gone. Right? They're starting to delete his background.
In fact, his entire profile showing any affiliation with Dominion has been deleted. In fact, if you've been watching any of the LinkedIn profile pages for Dominion voting systems, the counter for how many employees are publicly listed is going down by the day. So people are scrubbing their affiliation with Dominion right now, knowing that we are looking into this at this very second. So here's what I want to leave you with, Dan. Here's what should scare all Americans, regardless of who you voted for. The fact that we're even wondering whether or not the FBI is going to lift a finger and ask any questions about this, the fact that we're even wondering about that should be of huge concern
that should
to
scare
all of us, regardless of your politics.
Yeah, pardon me. That should scare the living hell out of every American out there, period. That this election and this voting system was compromised at the highest level by the people put in charge of making it a free election according to their software, which should have been unhackable and not touched. But obviously it's not hacking if the people that created it are the ones making the changes. Chanel, Rion, thank you so much for looking into this. Keep coming on this week, giving us more info leading up to this big special you're doing Saturday here on One America News. It's going to expose all of this. Thank you so much. Our Chanel Rion in Washington, D.C. with more on Dominion. Wow. All right, straight ahead, folks, right here on Real America. We're going to be joined by one of President Trump's legal team. She's going to give us an update into the court battles they are waging across this country. Don't go away.